Media has become an almost inseparable part of teenage life. On one hand, the media can have very positive influences, and the advancement of technology can help to better our lives. But on the other hand, media can influence teens in a very negative way. Things like Teen Mom, that is a popular show, that can send the wrong message to teens letting them think that pregnancy is okay. The show depicts young adolescents, almost all under the age of 18, getting pregnant, and what their life is like after their babies are born. The TV show has taken a harsh reality of life and turned it into a thriller reality show. Millions of viewers watch and become involved and infatuated in these young girls' lives, often relating to these characters. All the while, viewers have lost touch with the reality of how the show is edited and portrayed and sucked into the fantasy. Now that adolescent girls are familiar with the show that is teaching them these bad values, magazines post articles about these girls. Now teenagers are even more influenced by the even worse choices these media models are making. These media models are giving teenage girls a poor sense of body image and self-esteem. Adolescents are confusing these shows for reality. They are caught up in the drama and the chaos that makes these shows invigorating. Now, after this horrible media influences, adolescent girls start to look at themselves and desire to make themselves look like these media models, meanwhile creating a false sense of self. They see images of overly skinny models and develop a false level of normal, healthy weight. They then pass these ideals along to others in their peer groups, infecting more adolescents with these unrealistic ideas. Video games are a source of violent media for adolescent teens, mostly males. But does this violence result in violent behavior? If you follow behaviorism, then most likely so. Do all violent video games cause violence, or just the realistic ones? Are some worse than others? The debate of whether or not video games or movies depicting violence will cause children to become violent has been argued by both sides. In my opinion, if the behavior is modeled, then it is easily replicated. But correlation is not causation. Much like the Bobo doll experiment done by Bandura, it's easy for children to replicate aggressive behavior. But do adolescents know not to repeat this aggressive behavior, some maybe more than others? In a world where liability is everything, are video games just a scapegoat for normal teen violence? The truth is that adolescents have become more violent, in the United States especially. So what is the real cause? Do our video games make our teens more violent, or could somehow the news and television be prompting this violence? There has been an unfortunate pattern in the United States of horrific school shootings, but are these a result of violent video games? Or could the teens be influenced by the media directly? Many of these shootings are copycat crimes. They all have the same scenario: an adolescent male who is most likely a social outcast and suffers from either mild or severe mental illness. But what is driving these teens to commit these crimes? And why almost always shootings at a school? The media has the freedom to report on anything they want or show anything they feel the public needs to know in a way they see fit. The problem with the media is that there is no filter and no regulation. That is, however, what makes our country so unique and great. But what effects does this have on impressionable teens? Do young adolescents have the cognitive ability to understand the news and digest it in a way that will not harm themselves or the impression of who they are? The media is teaching adolescents. It is inspiring them. It gives them a sense of the real world. But is it the right impression, and can it be avoided?